Flightless kiwis evolved to produce a marvel of an egg, one that is the largest in proportion to the mother's body weight of any bird in the world. A kiwi egg weighs around 20% of the mother's body weight. Among birds, an ostrich lays the largest egg, yet in proportion to the mother's body, it is only 2% of her weight. If a woman gave birth to a child weighing 20% of her weight, human babies could tip the scale at 25 to 30 pounds. How then did this one group of birds in the South Pacific come to lay eggs like no other bird? Less than 1,000 years ago, big flightless birds known as moas inhabited New Zealand. One explanation says that kiwis are the dwarf descendant of those moas. If kiwis evolved from large-bodied flightless birds and became smaller and smaller over time, their eggs would have become smaller too. But according to some principles of scaling in animals, the eggs would have reduced in size at a slower rate than the body. If the birds became half as small, the eggs would not have become half as small. They would be somewhere in between. So the egg would end up being much larger in proportion to the mother's body weight. Another possible explanation is kiwis evolved from smaller birds that could fly. Those ancestors would likely have had normal-sized eggs that the mother could carry and still manage long-distance flight. Looking at the ancestor of kiwis this way, modern kiwis would have evolved large eggs as a strategy for producing chicks that hatch with all the features of adults. Kiwis hatch as fully feathered birds, able to live independently. It takes a big egg to provide all the nutrients needed to hatch this capable bird. The controversy of kiwi ancestry has now been solved, but the whole story is yet to be told. By recovering ancient DNA from an extinct New Zealand moa, scientists were able to compare kiwi DNA to moa DNA and other living flightless birds such as the emu and the cassowary from Australia. DNA evidence strongly suggests that kiwis did not evolve from moas or share a common ancestor with that group of birds. It does suggest kiwis are more closely related to emus and cassowaries, so the common ancestor must have flown to Australia and New Zealand. Perhaps that ancient flying ancestor evolved into a bigger flightless version of the kiwi before getting smaller as a way to avoid competition with the big moas. We just don't know. A better fossil record could tell that part of the story. One day, we will know with certainty how a small flightless bird came to lay the biggest egg for its size.